Hello there, World of Tankers. I'm Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about does playing overpowered premium vehicles make you a better player? And this is something that's very important in the World of Tanks community, because as I know, I'm a big influencer on the community. If I make a single video, it causes a lot of people's minds, should I buy this tank? Should I save my money? Or other stuff like that. So I figured, you know what, I wanted to break down a little bit into overpowered premiums and how the nostalgia kind of works on the tanks. So I normally don't play replays on my channel, but I figured, you know what, I had a pretty good game in the IS-2 Pravda just now, and I might as well just play a replay while I am talking about something that's very important in the community. So of course, if you like this type of content, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. But getting straight into it, as I was saying, the big topic in today's video is premium vehicles don't make you a better player. And not specific premium vehicles, I'm talking about the overpowered ones at that. Not like the IS-2 Pravda, this is just a meh tier 7 premium. But if you're playing tanks like the Smasher, and you bought that vehicle specifically because you watched my video, or you watched Meadsy or Pantouf's video saying that this tank is BSOP, and that if you buy it, you know, it's just so OP and it ruins the matchmaker and stuff like that because it's so OP. The thing is that just because a tank is overpowered, it doesn't mean that it's going to make you a better player. In fact, there are many players that watch these videos and think, oh boy, I gotta buy this vehicle, it's overpowered, these people are, you know, insta-killing everybody on the enemy team, they're getting high explosive, they're one-shotting them, I can do that too. And as much as I hate to say this, but most players can't do that. So they kind of get sucked into this thing of, and especially for wargaming, there's a saying called no marketing is bad marketing. And even if I were to make a video saying how wargaming should nerf the Smasher and say how overpowered and broke it is, a lot of people will take that into interpretation and say, oh, well, if the Smasher's so overpowered and broken, I'm going to get my hands on it if he's saying wargaming will never nerf it. And that is the truth on most parts. A lot of people that aren't great at the game definitely try and buy overpowered tanks, and that's why you see a lot of 40%ers and 30%ers even sometimes buying the Smasher to do good at the game. And if you're not good at the game, I'm not saying anything bad about you in general. In fact, I like that all types of players play the game, but the thing is that buying an overpowered tank to do better at the game isn't the right way to do it. Yeah, you might get a 50% average win rate in the vehicle, or even a 60%, which, yeah, I guess is good in the long run, but it doesn't make you a statistically better player. Yeah, your win rate might go up a little bit on your account. However, most top clans and most good players use a website called Blitz. I would definitely suggest to use that if you do play Blitz and you've never heard of it. I'll link it in the description down below. But what Blitz does is it pretty much gets your average damage, it gathers all the statistics for all your vehicles, and it gives you a WN8, or kind of just like a rating on all of your tanks, and it averages out all of the other players that have played that tank as well to give you a good WN8 or rating compared to all the other players. It's something that I use all the time. It's really nice, and it, you know, kind of averages out how you are compared to the average player in World of Tanks Blitz. So you might be playing the Smasher and do, you know, okay in it. You might be able to get a 60% win rate as a 40% player, but the thing is that if you were to look at your WN8, which a lot of top clans do in World of Tanks Blitz, it would show you as still having an average WN8 or even a lower than average in the vehicle because you're performing worse than the average player in the vehicle. So this is kind of the thing I've been trying to talk about to a lot of players that always buy the Smasher and say, oh, I'm going to buy it and do so much better, is, yeah, well, you might be doing a little bit better if you don't know where to position your Smasher. It sticks out like a big sore thumb out of water. The Smasher, while it may be overpowered, if you don't know what you're doing, I have a lot of people in the comments that say, this tank isn't overpowered, I've bought it, and I have absolutely no clue how to run it, it just doesn't do well. And that's because you're watching a video of a YouTuber getting out 5,000, even 6,000 damage sometimes on these overpowered tanks with no clue how to run them, and you're trying to pull them out and replicate the same thing. And sadly, it just normally doesn't happen as happy and gracefully as it would seem in the YouTube world. So the first thing I would suggest to do is before you do buy an overpowered premium and you think, oh gee, I really need this to boost my stats, the number one thing I would suggest to do is, if you're not good at the game, as I said, it's completely fine. Everybody has different skill levels. When I first started at the game, I absolutely sucked. I was not good at any means. But as you play the game more and you don't have the most battles, of course, after you get 5, 6, 10,000 battles, you'll start to learn the armor profiles of all the tanks in the game. That's something that you really need to know, is if you don't know all the armor armor profiles, getting a tank that has 250 heat pen doesn't really help you get better. In fact, it gets worse. I don't like to run vehicles where they have a lot of heat penetration because it kind of gets me a little bit worse on knowing where to penetrate my targets. If I'm using a tank where I spam heat all day, like a T28 there, if I was in, you know, a tier 8, let's say I was in the Smasher, I could easily just load premium right on the front of that T28 with my Smasher, and it'd be over for the guy. Just 2 shots and I'd finish him off. But with the IS-2 Pravda here, I can't even penetrate the front of that T28 as you saw with premium rounds, so I have to aim my shots, I have to look for weak spots, and that's something that if you're running an overpowered tank, you can't really do, which therefore sometimes actually makes you a worse player, because then when you run a bad vehicle, or a vehicle that doesn't necessarily have, you know, 275 heat penetration, you won't know where to penetrate the enemy vehicle. But you can see this game, I did the right thing, I blocked a couple shots and did over 3,000 damage in a vehicle that really isn't known or seen in battle at all, but it still is a fun tank to play if you know what you're doing, and that's how Blitz should be. You shouldn't just have to run an overpowered tank to have fun in the game. You should be able to run any tank and do well, and that's of course the big thing about the game. Is the whole goal of the video is trying to say that if you ever watch YouTubers and they say this tank's overpowered, don't go thinking that if you buy the vehicle it's going to make you a better player. You're still going to play exactly the same as you would in that vehicle as you would in any other tank. If you want to get better at the game, you have to follow a couple simple rules, which goes for any player, as me as well. First of all, when you first start off in the game, don't expect to be a master at the game. It takes time and it takes experience. If you're playing this game for only 3 months, it took me years and years. I've literally been playing this game for 6 years, and there's still new stuff I'm learning every single day. So, of course, taking time and learning all the armor profiles is something that's very important. Knowing the penetration of your tank and how well it suits up to enemy opponents, running calibrated, running gun rammer, what is more important there? There's a lot of different things, especially map positioning. Knowing your camouflage radio, how far away you can push, you know, your tank and not get spotted when you've shot at somebody. Bushes, how the bush mechanics work, if you're far enough behind a bush and you're not going to get detected. These are all different things that really affect how good of a player you are. And while Blitz may seem simple on paper, it's very, very hard to know how to play this game. In fact, this is an extremely hard mobile game. If you don't know what you're doing and you just think that you're going to breeze right through it when you first start off, it is really a rough ride. And I feel that's why a lot of people just get overpowered tanks, because they think, you know what, I'll just play a fun tank, you know, smash people out of the way. And sadly, even when people buy overpowered tanks, they really don't know what they're doing. So that was the whole purpose of today's video. It wasn't to talk bad about anybody in the community. As I said, if you're not a great player, that's absolutely fine. I used to suck at the game too. If you learn what to do in the game, you learn the armor profiles, then you learn how to lead your shots and everything else like that, everything falls into place. And that's the really lovely thing about games, is that you get better and you learn more as you play them, you develop. So yes, make sure to please play more to learn the map positioning. Fatness makes wonderful map positioning videos all the time. Well, at least he's going to start to. I have a whole playlist of map positioning videos on my channel, and I actually stopped making them because I found it weird that a lot of people would rather see me doing Make Me Suffer videos and versus videos than talking about map positioning, which I found kind of weird, because wouldn't you kind of want to learn a little more about the game than, you know, see me suffer in a vehicle for 20 minutes or something like that? But let me know in the comments down below if you want me to bring up map positioning, or you've stuck all the way to the end of the video as it is. But other than that, guys, I hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy. Don't go buying those overpowered premiums to boost your stats. But other than that, I hope you're all doing well out there, and I'll see you in the next one.